All right. How is everyone doing? Hello, hello, hello. Happy best day ever. I am so excited about this conversation with Cassandra. She is going to chat with us all about her incredible breakthrough results, but not only from this challenge, but from previous challenges, how she's just seen incredible results using the GFID methods, using just all the things that we talk about. So we are going to just dig right in, talk to Cassandra, mother of five. Hello. So let's bring her on in. And if you have any questions, leave them. And if we don't get back to them, then we'll come back after so that we can just kind of keep the conversation flowing. All right, here she is. Hi, Cassandra. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, afternoon. What time is it where you are?
We are afternoon, so it's 1 o'clock here.
Okay, look at twinning.
I know, yeah.
Yay for the genes. So I'm so excited to have you on. You've been a part of the GFIT lifestyle now for 6 years. Is that right, or 5?
Right, about 5-6 years, yes.
So give us a little bit of a backstory about you, how you got started and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So my sister, Angie, is kind of who connected us. She was doing a fitness competition and she used you as her coach. And so after that experience, she absolutely loved it. And she kind of got me connected with you. I started after, I think, my third pregnancy. And I got to the point where I was just kind of fed up with the extra weight, the inflammation, not only like in my body, but in my face. I just get eventually to that point where I'm like, okay, enough's enough.
I'm done.
It's time to make a change. So started your plans because honestly, there's so much out there. And I am kind of a type A personality and I like structure. And I like somebody to tell me, this is what you can eat, this is what you can't eat. I'm not a big, my fitness pal. I can't do the calories. I can't, it's just too much for me in my lifestyle. So
especially with 5 kids, right? You have to have that structure.
Yes. I need to have a plan and be like, okay, here I can do these things. I know what veggies are free and I know, like where I'm going, what I can have. And so it just makes it so much easier than any other plan that I've ever seen in my life. So
have you tried other plans?
Other plans of yours?
Other plans outside of the GFIT lifestyle? So if it's macros or whatever?
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of counting macros. I have friends that do. My thing is, well, Gina kind of does that for me.
Yeah. One less thing to think about, right?
I love that.
Change in soccer appointments and
yes. I've tried doing like the MyFitnessPal. I've tried, just low carb, which I love carbs. So that was really, really difficult for me because you have to have some of that in your life. You have to find some of that balance. So you're just not completely, almost doing a fad diet where you're just going to gain the weight back anyway, because you haven't learned any foundational nutritional ways of implementing those things. So no, that's why I have loved, your plans. And, with me, each pregnancy, I've gained anywhere from 50 to 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
Let me pull up one of your photos. What I love is the fact that, you came to this plan or to the lifestyle at post-pregnancy here. So this was after in the blue. Was this after your which child?
I think that was after baby number 3.
Amazing. Yes. And then now here, here were the final results after this previous challenge. And what I love so much is the fact that, you have a plan that works. And what I want to hear too from you is how was the challenges that you've done in the past, how were they different this time? Because as you know, being a part of the lifestyle for so many years that you just keep learning and evolving and having new breakthroughs. So what was would you say your biggest breakthrough from this challenge?
So the way that they're different. So when I started back after my third child, I jumped into the plan. And like I said, I'm type A. So, I had to do everything and I got really discouraged at myself because I couldn't fit everything in. Now this one, I knew there's just no way I'm going to fit all that in. So I just create a priority and that focus for me has always been nutrition.
Right.
100%. So if I can't get the cardio in, which I can tell you, I don't think I hardly got it in one time during this challenge.
And
So,
still, look at this.
yes,
Still, look at this.
yes,
I love hearing that. So you gave yourself a little bit more grace. And did that
absolutely.
grace come more with time, being on the lifestyle? Like before, would you have beaten yourself up if you didn't get in your cardio?
Yeah, it was a struggle. And I know that consistency is so key. But I also have to like understand where I'm at in this season of life and know my limitations. And so packing too much on just creates this sense of failure. And I just couldn't deal with that, you know? So
Right.
I just made it to where it was approachable for my life. And I wasn't in a position to stress about it or knock myself down for not being able to meet certain expectations. Whereas later I'll be able to do that. But right now it's like, hey, I'm going to institute a great foundation, not just only for me, but for my children to see. And nutrition is key. I'm telling you, everybody I talk to at work, I'm like, I don't care if you can get all that exercise in. You know, it's just like focus on the nutrition, period.
Totally.
Don't
100%.
do anything else.
So speaking of nutrition, okay, everyone always talks about meal prep and having other family, your family members. Now you have your 5 kids, your husband. How do you A, meal prep, and B, how do you do? What do you do? One meal? Do you do multiple meals? What does that look like in your house?
So it changes week by week. So I don't have a set day that I like want to meal prep. Sometimes this is kind of funny, but I'll stay up late trying to get things done. And I'm like, hey, I don't have any source of protein for tomorrow. So I've got some chicken breasts. I'm going to throw those in the crock pot, put some hot sauce. Hot sauce chicken is my favorite because I can use it in so many different ways. So I'll put it on at night. I may wake up once or twice, go shred it real quick and come back to bed. But it's done by the morning and I have a source of protein for that day, and then I pack that up and put it in the fridge. Other days it's, hey, we're all making burgers tonight. I'm going to make 3 or 4 more burgers so that I can have those for the next few days. So it's, for me, like I don't have this big like meal prep process.
Right.
I may do some things here and there because that big meal prep process just it's not functional for me right now. But I always make sure I have a protein source of some kind that's available. I make sure I've got the, ground turkey on hand. We eat a lot of ground turkey, tilapia, or chicken, just chicken breast.
So you keep it simple.
I keep it very, very simple. I don't do anything fancy. I would love to at some point do some of these meals and these.
But you're not in that season.
No, I'm just not. And to be, I tried it the first time around. I would try these recipes and do this big meal prep, and it just, it just didn't work. And so for me, I can't have that extra stress. And so I just kind of make it as simple as possible. One example would be, so my family eat chicken Alfredo for dinner. And my husband knows he'll make the chicken and leave it aside for me a little extra because he knows I won't eat that. And so it's just making those like simple substitutions while we're cooking for the entire family. There's just some meals, like we all eat turkey burgers. So they all do too. So we make a lot of those, and they may have mashed potatoes and even some rolls or something. And I may just have the green beans and a salad on the side. So all I do is just sub a few things in. I try not to make a big deal about me eating differently, just because I know in the beginning it caused a lot of strain actually on our relationship for me to be so like micromanaging of what the meals looked like for me and everybody else.
So over time, it's gotten easier, and you communicated, and your husband understands. And so over time, would you say that over time that people start to, the more that you communicate, the better that it gets with your meal prep, with your relationships. But in the beginning, it can definitely be very challenging, especially when you're trying to be so type A about everything.
Correct. Yeah. I think it's just knowing, you can't change that other person. They're going to have their own like wants and needs. And I have to be able to bridge some of that gap with a family. And so I have to be aware of that when it comes to my husband and all my children. But also making sure that I'm doing what is best for me and my body. A lot of times my daughter and I will talk and she'll be like, well, I can't have that. That's got too many carbs, or that's got some things rub off. And it's like, no, sis, your body needs certain things, but mommy's body needs certain things a different way. So just understanding each person's needs and how it affects their bodies differently.
Yeah.
So
Well, I love the point that you're making about like this season of life, and this is what you're doing for this season of life. You're not being as creative, because I think that when people get into the lifestyle, all of a sudden everyone's making all these fun things, and it can be really fun and exciting, but for some people it can be really overwhelming. And
yes.
so it just depends on where you are. And I know for me that, I created the loaves and the different recipes when I was competing and I didn't have kids and I wanted to get creative. But now fast forward, other than our bagels, I keep it so simple, as you know, because of the season of life that I'm in. So it's just a good point for those that are listening, to know that like you can be as creative as you want, but if that's overwhelming for you, then keep it as simple as you need to keep it.
Yes, yes, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, that honestly, my big things are keeping it simple,
Mhm.
nutrition, and consistency. So, like, those are the core. Stick to that and you'll be successful.
Yes, you will, and you are proof of that. So now, why is the breakthrough plan your favorite plan?
I think because each week it changes it up. I love your monthly plans, and most of the time, like after the first week, I already know like almost every meal, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can just roll through this. But with the breakthrough plan, it changes things up each week. One week you get some fruit added, the next week you got a few more carbs. Like it
Business
just
every
kind of
week.
spices it up a little bit. So I think that's why I really like it.
I love it. Okay, now you're also a nurse.
I am, yeah.
So you're working now?
I do. I am an assistant nurse manager in a neurotrauma ICU.
Wow.
And so I work usually every Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I've done weekend option for about 8 years now since our daughter was born.
What is your shift? Is it day
12
shift or
hours.
is
12-hour
it
day shift.
okay? Now, have you done the night shift while being on our programs?
No, I did a few night shifts, but not like anything consistently.
Okay. So that's another thing that comes up. There's a lot of nurses. And so they're always asking like about the meal prep and, I have 12-hour days. How do I do it? But I guess if you're a night shift, then it's a little bit of a different conversation than a day shift. You just make your meals, you bring them to work, you set that time aside. So you've had no problem.
I haven't, and actually just recently, since we actually just moved our office, but I was able to bring protein now, and we have a little mini fridge, and so I bring salsa and I bring some kind of dressing that I like that is good for the plan, and I keep those there. So that's a few things I
Perfect.
don't have to bring. I can just bring my other things. And I've got a lot of people at work. I mean, they're like, hey, let me try your protein or let me try this. And so it's inspired a lot of people at work to just dive in and do it. And I remember when I started, everybody knew I was. And I had comments like, I'm going to just watch. I'm going to
Mhm.
watch from a distance. The gallon of water, I'm telling you, we have gallon challenges at work.
Reminder.
Exactly, we do. And just this weekend, it's like gallon challenge. And so every 2 hours we would just drink an entire, here's my devotion one, but we would drink an entire one. So it's just a great like culture to start building, like, hey, like let's be focused on
Everyone's
nutrition.
supportive.
Yeah, everybody's for it. So
I
it's
love
great.
that. Oh, what a great environment to work in.
Yes, yeah.
So then now, how do you plan on maintaining where you're at? Because in the past, you've jumped on a challenge and then you got pregnant. And then you jumped on another challenge, you lost the baby weight, obviously. And so now, well, first question, are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
My husband just came home and he made a comment about it. He had a vasectomy actually right before we got pregnant um, with our last child. So our last child was actually a surprise. So he
Oh
had the
my.
vasectomy after baby four. Within that 6-week window, we ended up getting pregnant, and we have
So
a
it can
little,
happen.
right. We have
Oh my
Olivia
gosh.
with us.
Taking notes.
So usually she's actually 8 months old now, and usually I'm pregnant at 8 months. I usually find out. So it's a very weird time for me right now because I'm like, I've always, for the
Yeah.
last 10 years almost have been pregnant about 8 months along once they're 8 months. So yeah, it's a different season for sure.
Yeah, I bet your head is kind of spinning because, like you said, it's like, okay, yay, I made these great changes, and now I'm gonna get pregnant, and then you go down that journey, and then you snap back, and now it's like, so have you thought about that? How are you gonna maintain now?
Um, I think I've learned a lot foundationally too from your plans, just how to one portion size. And that's the question I get a lot. A lot of people at work are intrigued, but they're also thinking of it as a diet. And it's not like, it changes your way of thinking. So
Mhm.
one is nutrition labels, really reading those, understanding them, and then realizing what I can and can't have. Yeah, you can have a treat every once in a while, but it's not something that you can have all the time. Your Starbucks fluffy drinks that,
Right.
a lot of people drink a lot and have a lot of fat content, or um, other added sugars, pretty much. So I think it's just learning those concepts and understanding. Obviously, I have your app, and I'm going to be doing those monthly ones. I'm actually in round 2 of the breakthrough
Great.
plan, just because I love it so much. I literally just hang each week on the fridge, and it's right there. So when I'm making meals, I know exactly what I need to be eating. But I also get in a flow. You kind of get in the flow of that routine of, okay, meal 1, meal 2, meal 3,
Yeah.
So
So
you
are you
learn
doing
well.
refuel meals now? Are you working those in, or are you following it to the T?
So I did for a couple weeks in between the plans, before I started again. And the only reason is we had like a ice storm kind of thing that came through here. And honestly, I couldn't go to the store to get even the protein that I needed. So I
Mm,
kind of had to back off a little bit.
forced refuel.
Obviously, I had to feed, 7 people in this house. It's just like you said, it's giving yourself grace. You do the best you can with what you got. And then you just learn from those principles. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. Yeah, it wasn't what I really wanted it to look like during those few weeks, but it is what it is. And you just
I
like jump
just
back
love
on.
I just love hearing from people that have been living this lifestyle for, 6 years now, because you start to have, you fully are embodying everything about it. Because I think when you first get into any diet, right, or even our
Yeah.
lifestyle, because you don't realize that it's not a diet. So you're jumping on board thinking, oh, this is a diet. And so you're trying to be as perfect as possible. And then you beat yourself up. And then you realize over time, organically, that it's a lifestyle thing, so we can't keep beating ourselves up. Otherwise we're going to beat ourselves up until the end, because we're always going to have a little of this or a little of that. It's just life, right? So what I love is with people like you who've just done the plans, to my one-on-ones, it's like over time, just like how much grace and how much patience and just your calmness in your voice, like you just see this as a lifestyle. And okay, this didn't work out, so I'm going to pivot, and it's okay. You just keep moving forward. And I just love that, because that's what makes my heart so happy, because it's not just about getting these results right here. Like, oh my gosh, let's celebrate this all day. But it's really about what we're talking about, and this mindset shift that happens, and it happens over time. Can we just like talk about that for a second? It's not going to happen overnight. Like, have you noticed how over time, like all of a sudden you are like, oh my gosh, like that, I would have totally beat myself up over that. And now it's okay. Like, can you just kind of validate that over time it gets easier, and over time you start to just like embrace everything and give yourself more of that grace. But from chapter 1, you can't expect to have those same, that same mindset, but that it happens over time.
Yeah, I mean, even the first time I did one of your plans, like I said, I was really rigid, and I had really high expectations for myself, and that created just through that process, this like negativity that went along with it,
Yep.
negative mindset, negative self-image, negative kind of everything. You're doing this because, one, I hated my body, and now this time, 5 children later, I'm doing this because I love my body.
Love that.
I love my body through it, love my body through that journey. And by no means am I going to look in the mirror and be like, gross.
Right.
No, I'm going to say, look at what this body has done. It has
Love
literally grown and come back. And it's just
Amazing.
amazing to me what our bodies can do. And I think if we just focus on that and relish in that,
Yeah.
then we can just continue to progress without setting these high standards and expectations every single day, because we have to love ourselves through it. We can't just,
What you focus on grows.
Yeah.
So you talked about not always loving your body. Can you share a little bit more about that? What was your relationship with your self-love?
So, I mean, I think in the beginning, after having children, it's just this constant, like, I've got to lose the weight. You see these other women out there, and you make these comparisons of, hey, they had a baby, and look, now they've got these flat abs after just one child. And it's just not reality.
Right.
But just like anybody else, the culture sets this expectation for you. And you're kind of, if you have a competitive mindset or anything else, like I do, you want to
Type
be,
A.
yeah, you want to be there. And I
Right.
think with growth and time, you understand, like, this is living, I just got to give myself
Right.
time to live and grow in this and love the journey. The journey's fun.
I
Watching
love
those
it.
results, watching, I got a new scale, and as much as I like non-scale victories, I love my scale victories too. I do. Not just the number going down, but watching the protein going up and my water intake going up, and all
Yes.
of those things
Fascinating.
in combination with is what's exciting about it. Like just seeing that growth, not just in, the amount of weight I'm losing, but just all these other good things for my body, making sure I'm taking my multivitamins and my probiotics, and all of those things encompassed together is what creates the fun part of that journey,
I love that. And I'm not opposed to the scale as long as you have a healthy relationship with the scale.
Yeah.
If you let the scale determine your day, then it's a problem. But when you let the scale, oh, look, you're smiling, not determine your day and just use it as like, yeah, that's right. I didn't get my water in yesterday. That makes sense. Or you start to learn, oh, yesterday was a high carb day. That makes sense. Or, oh my gosh, I had those vegetables. They were really bloating and I see it and I see it. Once you start to like remove that the scale dominates me and start to like use it as a science experiment, it's actually pretty fascinating. And I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, it is fun. But I do see that with some people, how
Mm.
consumed they are. We do at work, even there's some people just keeping people accountable. We do a weekly weigh-in. And for some people that is encouraging and motivating. And for some people that is like completely the opposite. Like it's just not helpful for their mental stability.
Right. So now do those people remove it or do they still step on it?
So there's a few, like, here's an example. I had a nurse come into my office yesterday and said, I have a doctor's appointment today. It's at 3:00. I've got to step on the scale. I'm not going to eat until then.
No. Why didn't you do it first thing in the morning before you went to after the bathroom before you had to order?
Well, she doesn't want her doctor to know. She has to lose weight. It's just that mindset. I'm like, you're going to starve yourself all day. That's probably not going to help.
Yeah, actually going to make it worse. Your body's holding on to everything.
Yes, exactly. So, it's just, you see it everywhere, these unhealthy self-images, but I'm always happy to help people and motivate people. And I think it starts with just, understanding where people are and creating those little small habits. We encouraged a gallon of drinking every day at work, so those things. Now we've got a few people that are jumping on saying, all right, I'm committed. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, do these healthy habits and start, thinking about my nutrition. And so it spirals out of control once people kind of.
I know it's a healthy addiction because you feel so good, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this is why we do it, because of how we feel and how it makes us feel.
Yeah.
So do you get all your girls on board for the squat challenge?
I love the squat challenge. You know what, though? I also have never completed one.
Oh, this is your year. This is your year. Because you're not pregnant, you have no excuse.
It's true.
No, it's happening. It's happening. This is your year.
Okay, we're gonna do it. And now I can get all the girls at work. Hey, we're all doing it.
Yes, I love it. I know. I'm excited. Spring's here. I'm already thinking about summer, but it's so much fun. Well, I think that's going to be great because, you need those little goals, and you were pregnant, and now it's like, okay, that ship has sailed, and now you're doing this. But once summer comes, it's like you can commit to 100, especially with all the crunches that we're doing right now. Are you doing them?
I'm doing them here and there. So I hadn't committed to that. I wanted to really bad in the beginning. And
have you done one day over 100?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you can do 100 squats. I was thinking about that when I was swimming today. I was like, okay, with all these crunches that we're doing, this is going to make the squat challenge seem like a breeze.
I know, 600 and something in a day.
Yeah. Well, I love that you're honest too about it, and you're not beating yourself up over it.
No, I mean, it is. It's that season of life. And during those couple weeks, I really didn't feel very good at all when, we didn't have all the protein source that I needed to be able to intake as much as I wanted. And you just realizing how awful I felt during that time, how bloated, and how, that's what's motivating to stick to it. It doesn't bother me not to have, what everybody else is eating, because I know how it'll make me feel later, or, it's like, it's not worth it.
Totally.
Eating for a purpose is way better. I feel better. I know that I'm going to feel better when I wake up in the morning. So I think just that feeling more than results is what's motivating to me.
Right. And when you have those moments where you fall off or you have a little of this or that, whether it was planned or not planned, then you feel a certain way and you take that note to self, like, do I, this is how I feel. So when the next time comes around, you just ask yourself that question. This is how I'm going to feel. Do I want to feel that way? And if the answer is yes, then go for it and just accept how you feel. Or most likely it'll be no. And then you'll just move on and have something that's going to make you feel amazing the next day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's just hitting that reset sometimes. It's like, okay, I screwed up. Like, okay, time to change.
Yeah.
Jump on board again and just kind of get my mind straight, get everything back to how it was. And I think that's key. Like you just can't beat yourself up. You got how many years to live and these bodies and just to, I just don't obsess over it. I think it's a priority without obsession.
I love that.
So you have to like be conscious about it, but not obsess about it. So
I love that. Yeah. So, okay, rolling into, I hear kids, so I won't keep too much longer. I know Cassandra was like, how long is it going to be? I was like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, but put two GFIT girls together. We could be just sipping cocktails at midnight. So, okay. So you talk about just like turning the switch. What is like your favorite mantra or a GFIT mantra or your own that gets you into action when you may fall off?
So, and I think I said this last time, layer by layer. So sometimes when I do fall off, it's instituting maybe one thing at a time. So it may just be getting in that gallon of water for a week, making sure I'm successful at that, and then moving forward and adding another layer. So once I add that next layer and I am successful, it builds that motivation and, hey, I did achieve that goal. I'm going to keep building on that. And so then it's creating these good habits, little by little, one step at a time. So I think that's
one step, one day at a time.
Yep. Layer by layer.
I love that. And that is exactly the whole, and so many people came into the lifestyle after the squat challenge or after these first layers. It's like, okay, I want you to do nothing but 100 squats. We're not going to talk about anything else but that. And that's all I want you to do all summer long. And then little by little, it's like, oh my gosh, I did that. And then you start to build that confidence through consistency. And before you know it, they start asking more questions and wanting to dig in a little bit more. Christine and Dawn, all these girls that came from the squat challenge, is exactly where it begins, is taking that first step. Maybe for somebody, like you said, it's water or walk around the block. And then from there, we just start to add layer by layer.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if you know Dave Ramsey's concepts, it's like, hit your first, your lowest step first, and you build that motivation and that understanding. It's the same concept. It's like, okay, start small, get a boost of confidence, get some motivation in there, and then you can just build on that. So it keeps you fired up. It keeps you going.
I just love that. So you answered the question because, one of the mantras I had was, so I believe that confidence comes through consistency, where a lot of people feel that consistency is what leads to confidence, right? So, or you become confident once you're consistent, but the truth is you gain the confidence through the daily efforts of showing up every single day. Yes. And that's really where it comes from, where you're like, oh my gosh, I could do that. I'm going to do a little bit more. I could do that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. We just start to speak the same language. Mantras fly out.
Yes, it's wonderful. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. My mom and my stepdad were here, and we had David at a baseball game, and Nicolette was in the car, and they have a big poodle who's like in the back trying to sit on everyone. And it was like madness. And so the whole theme of the car ride was like, if we make it there okay, we need to celebrate. And then on the way home, if we make it there okay, we need to celebrate because this is a clown show. So,
hey, that's like my van every day.
That's your life.
Our van, they just keep coming out, it's like 1, 2, 3.
So I'm thinking about that. 2 kids, 1 dog, and you 5 kids, and you have pets?
No, we have children.
5 kids. Oh my God, it's a clown show all day.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, we don't have pets. We don't have time for that. We have 5 children.
Oh my goodness.
We're just trying to get a fish in the house. So, we spent a month trying to get a tank ready, and now we're testing the water. So we may get a fish soon.
Don't do it. Don't do it. They're excited for a week and then they're over it.
Yeah. And then I'm taking care of it.
Yeah, that's a fish. It's a great start though. Layer by layer, you'll get a donkey eventually.
I'm sure my husband will love that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I just want to show, seriously, look at how far you've come. And this is without doing cardio, you said. So even now, layer by layer, you start adding in a couple walks, or you start adding in, whatever else, more of our workouts, and the sky's the limit. I'm just so proud of you. Thank you for being such a like such a picture perfect example of the G-Fit lifestyle in how your physical looks, but also just more so than anything, just your mindset. It's just really, really inspiring. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate everything you do. And this has been wonderful. I love the challenges. It keeps me accountable. Yeah. And I'm excited to see in the next few months kind of how I progress once I do add another layer.
Right?
Because I
I
do
love
need it.
it.
I'm to that
So
point where it's like, add the layer.
So Jennifer was just lace up your shoes, just put on the shoes and lace up and go. And you are layer by layer. I love it. If we just lace up and we do it layer by layer, we're already on the road to success.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it, girlfriend. Well, have an amazing day. You are inspiring all of us. Keep us posted. And the Summer Squat Challenge.
I'm on it.
On it.
When does it start?
So I think it's June 21st, the first day of summer. So we have time. It's a good amount of time. So you'll get through this breakthrough, perfect time, and then 100 a day.
100 a day. Let's do it.
I love it. All right. Have an incredible day. You made it without kids crawling all over you.
I know. I know. One came and knocked on the door, but
high five. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for everything. We'll chat soon.
All right. Sounds great.
Okay. Bye, girlfriend. Wow, so awesome. That was so fun. I love sharing these stories because, you know, we're all in different chapters. We're all in different phases of our lives. And really what's so great is that we take the lifestyle, we take the tools, but yet we're able to like manipulate them for wherever we are. Keep it simple. Whereas maybe somebody's like sick of keeping it simple and they want to be super creative or wherever it is. But we have this umbrella. I need to get an umbrella that we all live under, this G-Fit umbrella. And then we just take it and we use the tools based on where we are. So the principles stay the same, the mindset stays the same, but how you navigate your ship is what changes. And wow, that is the most amazing feeling for me, to just witness the language that people talk to themselves, because I've always said, like, I can get you in really great shape. You can have the abs that you've dreamed of. You can have that physical appearance that you visualize. Like, to me, that's in the bag. That is done. That's the easy part. But actually cultivating this new way of thinking and this new lifestyle and giving yourself that grace. I mean, to me, I get chills just thinking about it, because to live your life being so hard on yourself where, you know, you mess up and oh shoot, I did a low carb day. It was supposed to be a high carb day, or, oh, I didn't get my crunches in today. And just like to constantly be beating yourself up day in and day out is just not the way to live. So when you can start to just give yourself more of that grace, that's everything. That's how we make every day the best day ever. So thank you all for joining and listening in. I'll check on comments in a little bit. She's such an inspiration, so glad to have connected. And one last thing, as I said, I could be talking forever, but one last thing that really makes me so happy is that we have stayed connected over the years. You know, there's so many plans, people come and people go in other areas of your life, but truly here we're creating a lifestyle, yes, but it really is a family where now I feel like I know her even more, and I'm sure you feel the same way. So it's like really creating a lifestyle that we get to join hands and walk this life and this path together. So thank you all for joining us today. Have an incredible day. Tomorrow's our flow day. So give yourself that permission to chill out, slow down, flow. And then I cannot wait to see you on Thursday. All right, friends, I'll see you real soon. Mwah.